And rather than explain this budget to Canadians, this minister scooted off to China to try to sell this gong show budget. Yesterday's budget made clear that Conservatives have run out of steam. They're continuing last year's cuts to health care and to pensions, adding Mike Harris-style mandatory workfare for First Nations, playing a shell game with skills training for Canadians. Their smoke and mirrors can't hide these facts. When will they admit that they are downloading billions and billions of dollars onto the backs of the provinces?
The Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Mr. Speaker, the budget presented yesterday gives a 6% increase for health care funding to the provinces and territories. The budget yesterday increases support for post-secondary education by 3% yesterday. The budget yesterday is squarely focused on what matters to Canadians, creating jobs, economic growth, and securing our long-term prosperity. Will the NDP, for once, put aside their blind ideology and support the Canada Job Grant, support new measures for apprentices? Why don't they stand up for people looking for work, Mr. Speaker?
The honourable member for Skinner.
Here's who's blind in this conversation, a finance minister who first claims that there's an increase in infrastructure spending and then later has to admit, and I quote, there is less spending on infrastructure. $1.2 billion less money for crumbling roads, less money for congested highways, less money for a starved public transit system. But this government has lost its way and spends all of its time listening to their own rosy rhetoric instead of listening to Canadians. When will this government stop and drop the smoke and mirrors exercise and be honest with Canadians that $1.2 billion less on infrastructure is going to hurt them and hurt our fragile economy?